So listen here. We've had more than one people point out you really ought to learn the English language. More than one correspondent has pointed out that listen, you guys bring up problems a lot in the hypocrisy and the waste and the abuse and the California crumbling. Oh my God, this email, I got tears in my eyes from Leslie, a native Californian. This is home. It's so corrupt, diminished, overly regulated. I'm so sad and disgusted. It used to be the place where people dreamed of. Best schools in the country, opportunity to thrive in business, imagination, energy. And then she goes on to describe it in terms we often use. Yeah. And it's too damn bad.
Can you imagine moving here from another country and you've heard your whole life about America, land of the free country, free. You hear the national anthem. Oh, yeah. Maybe you hear it when you first move here, the land of the free, home of the free, and then you buy a house. You own your own home, and you have to get a permit to put in an alarm system or a permit to put a little shed in your backyard.
Right. The government has to permit you. So, but the question comes, once in a while. It's not a drumbeat, but we get it once in a while. What should we do?
Fight it.
Well, fight it.
Fight it.
Fight it.
Fight it.
But
yes.
How?
So no.
I want to spend a couple of minutes talking about how you can fight it.
Fight it.
1-866-331-TALK. Jack's got the texts, so we can look at those as well. I'll tell you one thing. I had a really interesting conversation with a young man. He's a PhD guy at a university in this great country. He's doing his PhD project on the history of and significance of talk radio and politics. And I talked to him for an hour yesterday, and we just chatted at the end of our doing business. And he mentioned it's really interesting because he teaches classes that in so many of his classes, he can't get the young men and women to engage in disagreement because they are so afraid of offending each other.
No.
They are so conditioned that if you've offended somebody, you've done something bad.
Where does that come from?
And merely disagreeing with somebody can offend them. Well,
in the world of cable news where everybody screams at each other, where does that come from?
Well, that's what's fascinating about it. But we all know that the victim is the highest class in America, and that if you're wronged, you bellow that somebody was a racist or a sexist or whatever, and you sue, blah, blah, blah. And I think it's a different symptom of the same thing. People immediately go to vicious personal attacks online.
Fight it.
Right.
And so people are so afraid of being politically incorrect, they're afraid to argue a point because they don't want to be that offensive, belligerent person who dares disagree. And I will tell you, Californians, there's a fair amount of truth to the, live in New York, but leave before you're too hard. Live in California, Northern California, leave before you're too soft. People are afraid to offend to an extent in California. I mean, good people. I mean, sons of bitches will say awful things constantly, and in a way I admire them. But if you think you're good, honest, Marin County, Berkeley, Davis, the heart of every city in California, nanny state loving, compassionate, big government people are going to be offended when you point out that those people are wasting my money and you're a sap for believing it. Maybe don't call them a sap, but you're a coward if you're afraid of offending them. Go ahead and say it. I would say that is step number one. Say what you believe. It's your money. For God's sake, if you're not willing to defend your money, you're a limp wrist. But I want to take some more suggestions before I get to some of mine. 1-866-331-TALK. It's Vicky in Cameron Park. Vicky, talk to us.
Hi, and thank you for having me on. I listen to you every day. It's my first time I've called.
Oh, terrific. Welcome.
The fire fee that was discussed yesterday with Jarvis was where I took my stand, because I have no other power. But when I live in a rural community, we're called rural because I'm on 5 acres in Cameron Park. But they also called across the way on the freeway, third-acre owners are also called rural and need extra fire protection. We pay $180.
Oh, yeah, we understand the issue. Get to what to do about it.
What to do about it is exactly what I did, was find out how I filed a petition. And it got the attention of Jarvis because there's 800,000 homeowners times whatever that fee was. Okay? That's where you have to fight it.
So in general, would you say don't lay down, fight it yourself, and support the various taxpayer organizations?
Absolutely.
It actually did some good.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, we're making headway in that, so that's good. Find those organizations. Obviously, register and vote Libertarian or, well, the Republicans are just useless. But, understand what politicians are in favor of what and vote that way. I realize that feels small, and I'm willing to take on a bigger plan than that. But I want to hear from you what to do about it. It's Jay in Sacto. Hey, Jay, go ahead. Jay, are you there? Nope. I think he was going to say we should host town hall meetings. That's interesting. We do appear at a fair number of Tea Party meetings and rally the folks. It's kind of preaching to the choir.
Right.
Kemper in Vallejo. Kemp, go ahead, bub.
Well, first of all, when you're speaking about correct English, it's not you alls, it's yous all. So please use that correctly.
My apologies.
Okay. You're right. You got to register Libertarian, and I'm going to explain why. Because everybody's pandering to the Hispanics because they are an easily recognizable, significant group with a common interest. The trouble with Libertarians is we're invisible. And to become visible, you got to register as a Libertarian, and then it might help. It's got to be a lot of people doing it, but the problem is...
I need to do that. I'm not registered as anything. I need to register as a Libertarian.
Can you do that online, Kemp?
I don't know, but it's if you go to the library, if you go to the post office, when you go to the welfare office, Jack, right there, they almost force you to register. So... Okay.
All right, very good.
It's easy to do.
Okay.
But, we have 40% of the state is independent. That doesn't mean anything. It means I don't care or I don't know or I don't stand for anything. You got to stand for something. And when you stand for Libertarian, it doesn't mean you want to legalize heroin. It means you want smaller government, lower taxes. That's what it means.
I'm going to do that today, damn it.
And if we had 30% Libertarian registration in this state, somebody like Tim the lawyer, who doesn't want to run for office, would submit his name as a candidate, and just by participating. If you had Tim the lawyer, a three-way between Mitt Romney and Obama.
Sounds hot.
Romney would have won.
A three-way with Tim the lawyer, Mitt Romney, and Barack Obama.
I don't swing that way, but I appreciate the thought. Yeah, I hear you. I
like the brown sugar in there. It really adds to it.
And for God's sake. Are you in favor of that, what's the second choice voting system?
Yeah, well, they call it ranked voting. It's an instant runoff is the other thing. That's the other thing. When we had the replacement of Gray Davis, nobody had the guts to vote for McClintock because they were afraid that they would split the vote between Schwarzenegger. What they should have done is rank people by how many votes they got, and then if it turns out that Schwarzenegger eliminate from the bottom up with all the little has-beens and losers. But ultimately, if it's Perot,
you end up with a maid humper.
Clinton and Bush,
yes,
and all the Perot voters default to Bush, then Bush wins, which he would have won in California back in '92.
Right, I hear you. Okay, worth considering. All right, Kemp, thanks, man.
That would make a difference, though. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah.
That either political party, probably ain't going to be the Democrats, would have to take into their platform the thoughts of that big percentage chunk out there that is Libertarian.
Right. And, I am willing to pander to y'alls. If you want us with bullhorns screaming and doing that sort of thing, if that'll raise the ratings, I'll do it. That's not really kind of the show I'd prefer to do, honestly, but I'm not sure that would do a lot of good. I would like to help you, and I would like to help us find a way to actually do some damage. And you know what I mean by that. Although there are days I think axe handles coming down on the Capitol are a great idea. I don't suggest you do it. Just thinking out loud here. All right, 1-866-331-TALK. All our contact info is at ArmstrongandGettyRadio.com. Text line 1-415-295-KFTC.
Just figured out how to change your registration. Hit you with that next. You're listening to The Armstrong and Getty Show. It's not the ribbons in your hair.
Armstrong and Getty now. Clark Howard at 10. Weird Talk 650 KSTE.
Call me maybe on Valentine's Day. We'll talk to Dr. Wendy James coming up at 8:47. How to cope with being alone on Valentine's Day.
I think our role is to tell the truth.
A little late now to be cope with being alone on Valentine's Day, but we're going to talk to her at 8:47.
Well, no, the coping has just begun. Listen, we tell the truth. We try to draw your attention to it, but some of y'all want to, what do we do? What do we do about all the bloated government and the waste and the nanny laws and what's the solution? Offer us solutions.
Fight it!
Don't come to me with problems, Schmedkovich. Come to me with solutions. That's what the CEO says to you, right?
Cabin in the woods.
Off
grid.
I'm telling you, that's a solution for me.
Pit bulls and shotguns.
1-866 and pit bulls with shotguns. 1-866-331-TALK. 1-866-331-8255. Get a German Shepherd, teach a pit bull to ride it, and have it patrol your property.
You do like Mr. Burns. You have dogs and bees and dogs with bees in their mouths. So when they bark, they shoot bees out of their mouths.
1-866-331-TALK. What to do? Do we bellow through bullhorns? What? It's Jeff in Vallejo. Hey, Jeff, welcome. How are you, sir?
Good morning. Good to talk to you again.
Thank you. Fire
I've been
away.
on your show a few times.
Terrific.
I'm a fourth-generation Californian, and it really breaks my heart to see what Darrell Steinberg and Jerry Brown and several others in Sacramento
Just think,
doing to
fourth
this
generation. That means your great-great-great-grandfather rode a slow-moving train across the state, and your great-great-grandson will ride the bullet train at the same speed across the state.
Yeah, right. Yeah, in what century?
Yeah, right, and at the cost of hundreds of billions of dollars. Anyway, Jeff, so what's on your mind?
Well, I think business leaders in California need to come together and stage a convention to come up with the 10 most important solutions to making California business-friendly once again, and then send these to the legislature and advertise them throughout the state so the public can put pressure on the state legislature to act on these recommendations. And if they don't act, then we've got something to point to and say you're failing to come up with the way to make California work once again.
I'm afraid you're putting too much stock in the willingness of the average voter to engage and pay attention.
Well, that's part of the problem, isn't the apathy in this state? People want that handout, but they don't want to turn around and get these people out of the legislature who are ruining California.
Well, and these feel-good arguments that aren't good enough to dupe a... I almost said something highly unfortunate. They're not persuasive enough to fool anybody into doing anything. Work great in California because people go by their feelings so much. But
that's exactly right.
All right, Jeff, I like that idea though. Business leaders really ought to present a more united front.
Somebody texted how to change your registration. Well, you change your registration or register. If you want to do it libertarian, you go to sos.ca.gov/elections/elections/line.vr.html.
Oh, just Google California Secretary of State.
But I hope it's easy to find. I was at a website the other day trying to figure out a form that they said was listed, and I could not in a million years figure out what page that was on. But hopefully in this case it's easy.
Yeah, I think I've got it just by going to the California. Yeah, register to vote now.
Can you change it? Change your registration?
Theoretically, yes. I'll click on it. Why not? What does it cost? Nothing. It's looking pretty good.
Or your county's registrar of voters.
Yeah, right. Where does she live?
Yeah.
Or he?
How do I find that person?
Right, to the phone.
No, their website. You just Google your county and then registrar.
Manuel in Stockton. Go ahead, Manuel. Hello, sir. Oh, I'm sorry. It's Bob in Berkeley. Bob, go ahead, bud.
Yes, sir. Good morning. I think that people could protest over-governmentalizing by calling talk shows and saying words that offend the FCC.
That's
one plan?
Stupid idea. Thank you for wasting my time.
No.
That's a plan?
Manuel in Stockton. Hello, Manuel.
Hey, good morning, guys. Yeah, I don't think that other guy's plan would work very well for your rating.
No. Well, it might. I don't know. People like filth. You dumb effer.
You little effer.
Yeah, you guys try to reach out and find good, educated candidates, have them on your show, try to promote them, endorse them. I don't say go out as far as have fundraisers for them, but make sure your audience knows who the good candidates are. Encourage them to get involved in their campaigns, donate some money, donate some time, talk to their friends. And a good example is, in California, the Democrats, they have the public employee union money. The average Democrat will raise for assembly, $300,000, whereas Republicans are raising anywhere from $50,000 to $100,000. There's this great disparity out there. And if we can get the people to realize needs less government. Sending your money to Sacramento does increase your wealth. Maybe we can make a big difference.
Okay. All right. Thanks for the thoughts.
I can't imagine ever giving money to a politician for some reason. I just can't imagine ever doing that.
Here's Pat in Sac. Hey, Pat. So you're going to let the evildoers win, Jack, over and over again, eh? Tell Mister, you're saving it up like money. Oh, that's you can't say that about money. Pat, go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say that, one of the issues that conservatives have been really outflanked by liberals. They've effectively, over the last 10, 15 years, changed the social message to, drive policy in a certain way that we're trying to react by voting, and the public's just simply not there. So what we really have to do is change the social message to get the conservative viewpoints back in front of people. I mean, think about it. There is not one conservative role model on TV for kids right now.
Well,
or adults.
I might beg to differ, but
who is it?
Well, other than news, take away news people, news and radio.
And there aren't many of those.
There's just no. Our whole
John Voight
social message for the conservatives is non-existent within the state.
Yeah,
Chuck Norris.
Yeah. All right, Pat, I hear you talking. We could use some really charismatic leadership, but then
movie tradesman.
I mean, if you've
Clint Eastwood, there you go.
If you've got a lefty version of what we're talking about, they will get enormous enthusiastic help from those who control the eyes and ears of America, the mainstream media. So that's one difficulty of it. That's not a reason to give up, but
I've given up. So we've lost. We lost. It was an experiment. It lasted about 200-some years. It's probably going to take 50 years or so to fall completely apart. But we lost. In the end, socialism always wins because that just seems to be human nature.
You make me sad. You make me sad.
It just seems to be human nature.
Boy. I think, Ben, the Libertarian's been hammering me to move to New Hampshire, become part of that Free State Project. Sounds kind of attractive.
Well, for me, it'd be live free or die of starvation, because what would I do for a living?
Yeah. Well, we can pipe this show back here.
My job is here. That would be cool. That'd be a cool hook. They do their show from New Hampshire, the live free or die state.
Yeah, that is a good hook. Although, we'd have to resist the temptation to adopt an accent living there.
This isn't looking good today, huh?
Yeah, Armstrong&Getty, yeah. Good to be with you.
Yeah, another hard winner.
Another